I'm gonna say a statement and you say whether you believe it or not. This is my third Red Bull of the day. Do you think that is the truth or me lying? You can see my hand and you can judge. Not that. Hi besties, welcome back to my channel, and I'm actually going to be putting this Mario Badescu lip balm on. Debbie Dobbles, who is a viewer of my channel, who I love very much, actually got this to me and sent it to my P.O. box. Debbie, I love you and I fuck with you. Thank you for that, for keeping my lips very moist. Anyone else love doing that and being the most obnoxious ever? Wait, like this. Hold on. I'm thinking coffee for lunch. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about is Larray, and now we haven't talked about Larray since his parties in summer. Remember the dragon style? Oh please. Parties that Nikita threw him, and he went to a bunch of parties. He addressed it. He said he was going to be isolating, then he isolated for like 2 days, then he hit the scene again with James Charles, Charlie D'Amelio, Dixie D'Amelio, Noah Beck. They all went partying again, and it was just very hypocritical. And so I haven't heard much from him in the drama aspect in quite some time, and then a lot of people were highlighting this particular story involving him, and they were like, Adam, you never talked about this. And I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on? I looked into it and I was like, oh damn. So I think it's actually quite an interesting conversation that can be had around this about cancel culture, and also the influence that these YouTubers who are at the top, who are being cancelled or held accountable or whatever the fuck you want to say, the impact that they've had on, you know, younger people. Now, the bigger creators in question are Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, and Larray is basically saying that because of their influence, he, you know, thought a lot of things were normalized whenever they weren't. Now, I have a multiple different kind of like aspects and like different opinions I can have on this. As we're aware, Jeffree Star has had a very disgusting trail of content on the internet. He started in MySpace and he was very violent in his content and very offensive, and kind of as the years went on, he was very violent and very loud and very passive aggressive and straight up aggressive and using slurs and just, you know, being very revolting with his content. Then he kind of started looking at himself as more of like a brand and kind of, you know, started cleaning himself up a bit, at least to the public. He was doing a lot of shady things still to this day behind the scenes, and more so, you know, just pushing, you know, the really nasty stuff kind of behind people's opinions and behind people's perceptions, so they couldn't comment on it as much as what they once did, because he's like, look, I'm a changed person, Shane Dawson series about me, I'm actually the victim here. That kind of stuff about Jeffree Star. And that's kind of been crumbling as well in like recent times, where we're seeing about him being exposed again and doing shady stuff in real time, but just behind the scenes now. And so a lot of people say that, especially back in the MySpace day, they learned a lot of behaviors from Jeffree Star, and that has kind of followed through with them, and they actually blame Jeffree Star for a lot of things that make them them, because that was their biggest influence at the time. Now, it's also important to note that with YouTubers like more so Shane Dawson than Jeffree Star, I feel like a lot of stuff was normalized for me, even just watching it. I never acted on it, but I'm just saying a lot of stuff was kind of normalized, and that is the responsibility on the content creator, in my opinion. You can have a full debacle all you want about the influence the parents have on this and monitoring their kids or whatever, but at a certain stage you have to realize that YouTube is a platform that very young kids go onto, and the trending page is filled with people like Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. So of course that behavior is going to go past the parents, which is why so many people, whenever Shane and Jeffree were getting cancelled, were like, wow, this behavior was stuff that I watched. I thought this was okay. This was normalized to me. And you know why? Because it was number 1 on trending. It was number 1 to 10. You know what I mean? Like, it was getting pushed to us from a very young age, and that's a bigger conversation I've said multiple times needs to be had about the responsibility of the actual social media platforms that push these people until they got backlash and then demonetize them and then slowly monetize them again. You know what I mean? There's so many people responsible here. And I've always been known for saying that about these people like Shane and Jeffree, main because they work together to clean up each other's image, and that's so shady in itself, because the ultimate aim in them fucking doing that was so that they could release a palette and get millions of dollars from it. So we talked about Jeffree and the stuff he normalized, the violent, just disgusting behavior. And on the other side was Shane. Shane was doing a bunch of like racist and problematic stuff that he was pushing off as comedic. So completely not in the moment and looking back on it. But because that was the creator that everyone talked about and everyone watched, it was normalized for an entire youth, and you can't say that it wasn't. And if you're gonna blame the like 6 to like 12-year-olds who were watching him and had that normalized behavior for them, then that's a really weird aspect and really weird angle to take on it, if you're gonna blame the young kids that were watching rather than the creator who has the complete responsibility in that situation. And especially the social media. platform that has the responsibility by pushing them. So with that now being said, in recent times, both of these grown-ass men have pushed all of their controversies to the back so that they could be more innocent and wholesome to the front, which is why Shane Dawson makes himself come off as, you know, so wholesome, so people feel bad for him and want to support him, which is why he fell so hard this fucking summer whenever people were seeing and being reminded of the content that was once normalized on the internet and being like, this is not the man that he, you know, is portraying himself as now, which was his downfall. The reason for that opener is because Larray is talking about that exact thing. Larray is being called out for a problematic tweet that he did, a really insensitive, problematic, disgusting tweet, very transphobic, and he basically has done an apology addressing it on a live stream, which I think it was interesting, him doing it on a live stream rather than doing it on, like, YouTube or Twitter or whatever like that. Like, again, it was a bit weird. And so his reasoning for doing this tweet, he said, is because all of this content and these words were normalized to him through the likes of Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. Now, I know this has people split. This has people split so hard, and I'm gonna watch this with you, then we're gonna talk, then we're gonna read what his tweet said. So here we go. This was Larray addressing it from Def Noodles' Instagram. Love you, Dennis. Here we go.
When I was younger, I most definitely didn't know what the word meant. I was watching videos like Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, and I wasn't really educated on the word or the term. And I used it in a wrong way. And, you know, I just wanted to apologize to everyone that I offended. Most definitely. Can you guys all please screen record this? Because I just want everyone to know that I truly do apologize. I have a lot of supporters that are transgender. And I just want everyone to know that just because I was younger, it doesn't mean it's okay for things like that to go slide by, because the transgender community does go through a lot of shit. Like, they really do. They go through a lot of fucking shit, and we all should be using our platform and using our voice and making sure they're all safe, because there's a lot of transgender women and men being assaulted and killed and just for being themselves and living their lives. So I wanted to come in here and let you guys know that please watch what you say. Please make sure you stand up for our beautiful women. When I was younger, I most definitely...
Okay, so this was the tweet by Larray. I'm not going to read it out, but I'm just going to put it up so you can obviously see it. Not a good tweet whatsoever, Larray. Not a good tweet. And I have a bunch of different opinions. I am going to watch this again and stop and talk about it because there's a few things I need to point out. It does seem, however, my argument at the start was that I believe the content creator has, you know, the biggest responsibility in this, because obviously, like Larray is saying, he was very young in this. But Larray now is a grown man as well. And it's quite weird that he's pushing it off now at this stage. I get that he's trying to say that, you know, he watched Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star and this was normalized behavior for him. And that's why he obviously did this. But it's like, it just feels really weird, and it feels like, you know what I mean? I'm so split on this. This tweet is from 2011. So Larray was obviously very young when he tweeted this. It's not an excusable tweet. I'm not saying that at all. I think this tweet is fucking disgusting. And especially whenever I was younger, I remember people in my schools used to throw around those kind of words, and it was never okay. But still, it's like, it really seems like even now, it's just like, it's throwing them too under the bus, which I get. Their content was that. These words were said by both of these men, Shane and Jeffree, so much. I really get why he said that. And then he, you know what I mean? It's so like, I'm just gonna watch it one more time, okay? I'm very split on this. Okay,
when I was younger, I most definitely didn't, know what the word meant. I was watching videos like Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, and I wasn't really educated on the word or the term. And I used it in a wrong way. And, I just wanted to apologize to everyone that I offended. Most definitely. Can you guys all please screen record this? Because
here's my issue. The way he was like, can y'all screen record this and post it so people can see it? That responsibility isn't your supporters. That's your responsibility. If you want to hold yourself accountable and apologize for this, you shouldn't be doing it on like an Instagram live or a TikTok live or whatever this was that you're gonna delete and ask people to just screen record and then post. It's something that you should be leaving up and doing it on, a platform where you can actually voice your concerns at the fact this is what your behavior was and why it's not okay and whatever your reasoning is for it. So it's weird that he's like telling his fans to, can they screen record it so people see it? That's your responsibility, not your supporters, who as well are very young.
When I was younger, I most definitely didn't, know what the word meant. I was watching videos like Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, and I wasn't really educated on the word or the term. And I used it in a wrong way. And, I just wanted to apologize to everyone that I offended. Most definitely. Can you guys all please screen record this? Because
Like, it's your responsibility, not theirs.
Just want everyone to know that I truly do apologize. I have a lot of supporters that are transgender. And I just want everyone to know that just because I was younger, it doesn't mean it's okay for things like that to go slide by, because the transgender community does go through a lot of shit. Like, they really do. They go through a lot of fucking shit, and we all should be using our platform and using our voice and making sure they're all safe, because there's...
Oh, 10% battery, sorry.
Making sure they're all safe, because there's a lot of transgender women and men being assaulted and killed and just for being themselves and living their lives. So I wanted to come in here and let you guys know that please watch what you say. Please make sure you stand up for our beautiful women. When I was younger...
Okay, here's my thing. I need to take a sip before I can... The tweet is disgusting. Let's get that out of the way. This is not a word that should be thrown around, and I'm glad he's admitting that this is something that shouldn't be thrown around, and the transgender community need to be protected, and they experience some amount of fucking violence and just terrible activities to them for no fucking reason, for being themselves. And so whenever I see tweets like this, I get really frustrated, and I'm trying to keep into consideration this is 2011 and he was so young, and he's saying that obviously these words were very normalized to him because of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. And the thing is as well, sorry, my camera died, but I just want to say that a lot of people have came forward, who watch Shane and Jeffree and their older content, and they literally say that they used to say these words that were very normalized in the content of these two men, and they didn't know what the words actually meant. Now, normally when people say that in their apology, they're like, oh, I didn't know what this word meant. I'm like, bullshit. But the thing was, in Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star videos, these words were used so frequently that it was like, you know what I mean? And it's like, it almost like Larray is saying, like, he picked it up just through their videos and he didn't know what it meant. And it's like, I'm trying to, like, it's hard to hear someone out whenever there's tweets like this, but I'm trying to take into consideration 2011, and he was probably, like, less than, being a teenager or whatever like that. And that was, his influences on YouTube and stuff like that. Shane and Jeffree, who, whether you want to admit it or not, Shane Dawson fans, Jeffree Star fans, that's the words they used all the time. Multiple times in every single sentence. And their fans picked that up. And so many people came forward saying this behavior was normalized to them. And so people are really split in their opinions on Larray doing this. A lot of people believed that he should have just said, here's my tweet, this is not okay, and let's actually have the conversation be about how the transgender community need protection and why we as allies should be doing more. We should be doing more. If we're doing this, like, we should be doing, you know what I mean? They need so much just love and so this is why, like, stuff like this gets me so fucking heated, just because, and I hope it does for you as well, because that means that we care. And this is the first ever time in making one of these videos where, like, I can't come to, like, an automatic decision straight away. Normally I'm very quick in, whatever, like, judgment I'm making. So because of that, I am just gonna, so the tweet obviously was that, okay, awful. Okay.
When I was younger, I most definitely didn't, know what the word meant, I was watching videos like Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson.
So watching their videos and
I
didn't know
wasn't
what it
really
meant.
educated on the word or the term. And I used it in a wrong way. And, I just wanted to apologize to everyone that I offended. Most definitely. Can you guys all please screen record this? Because
I don't like that where he's like, can you all screen record it and send it
I have
out?
a lot of supporters that are transgender. And I just want everyone to know that just because I was younger, it doesn't mean it's okay.
That's true. I'm glad he's admitting that.
Slide by, because the transgender community does go through a lot of shit. Like, they really do. They go through a lot of fucking shit, and we all should be using our platform and using our voice and making sure they're all safe, because there's a lot of transgender women and men being assaulted and killed and just for being themselves and living their lives. So I wanted to come in here and let you guys know that please watch what you say. Please make sure you stand up for our beautiful women. When I was younger,
okay. I believe he's being genuine in this apology. I really do. Yeah. I believe he means it. And again, I don't like how he was like telling the fans to screen record and make sure people see it. That's on him. This was on his social media platform, so it's on him to make sure that people who see this tweet know that he doesn't stand by it anymore, rather than just doing like an Instagram live, you know what I mean? You make it more known. Yeah, this is the first ever video where I'm like, I'm glad that he's bringing awareness to it. A lot of these influencers have tweets like this where they don't even address it. But like even addressing it and apologizing for it is literally the bare minimum. Let's be real. The bare fucking minimum. Because think about how your transgender audience look at that. No matter how long ago it was. I do believe that he was just saying about the Shane Dawson Jeffree Star and watching their content, and it was normalized for him because it does add even a little bit of context. A lot of people do think it's just very blaming and deflecting, but again, that was the content that was just out there, and these words were in multiple sentences multiple times by both of these men. And so a young person has obviously picked it up, like Larray has, and tweeted, and this was before he had any followers, and so you know what I mean? I want to know what your opinion is of this. Please comment it below. And I think this is just the time where we can all just realize that we need to be doing more for the transgender community as allies. And if you're out there and you're watching my videos and you are transgender, just know that you're so fucking valid, and I love and appreciate every single one of you. I want to give you a hug, but because of COVID, like, I don't want to, encourage that. But, you know what I mean? This is just, I think we just need to do better. And that goes out to you, Larray. So, I want to know what your opinion is. Again, it's the first, video I haven't really, I just want to hear what other people have to say about this, because I have not came to my, own conclusion. And that's a first for me, you know what I mean? Let's talk about it below. I'm going to be reading the comments. You can have a discussion with other people down there. Please keep it as respectful as you can, obviously. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Stay safe. And protect your trans brothers and sisters. Okay, bye-bye.